Thank you. You know, I think we're getting to a point that we probably are going to be start skipping introductions here very soon. I think everyone is getting so used to us. And Eddie, I mean, you already introduced yourself, so I don't no need for me to introduce you again. But just in case someone came in a little late after you say your name and what you do, we have a wonderful Eddie from the marketing department, and he is going to be in charge of keeping track of everything that comes through the chat or through the Q&A. And as Eddie was talking, was mentioning, along with Carrie, it is our commitment that we will answer every question before we let you go this evening. So again, thank you all for making time. Thank you all for being with us here at the United States Senate Federal Credit Union weekly Wednesday webinar. I think we're getting ready to file a patent or a trademark for this. I mean, it truly is an exciting, wonderful night that we get to spend with you all and go over so much great information that we have prepared. And one of the key people, the person that is actually in charge of putting all these beautiful graphics for us is none other than our wonderful, lovely Carrie Lazar from the marketing department. So everything that you see in terms of graphics, she is the reason why you get to enjoy and have a pleasant view on every single slide. So Carrie, thank you so much for all you do for us here. I think everyone also knows me by now too. My name is Milton, and I'm the Membership Development Officer with the credit union. And I'm really excited to be in front of you every Wednesday night. And as Eddie alluded to, I also want to give a special shout out to one of our own who is on the attendee list, our very own and expert, Mary Nelson. She has so much knowledge when it comes to IRAs. If anyone ever have a question about IRAs, please feel free to reach out, and we most likely are going to connect you to Mary. So thank you, Mary, for making time and being with us here tonight. And with that being said, I think it's time for me to pass it on to the main presenter of this evening, or what I like to call our all-star, Kim Friedley, who is our Membership Development Officer, who is going to take you on this wonderful journey of financial caregiving, taking care of our parents and grandparents, and providing them great financial resources, and what are some of the things that we can do to look out for them. And it's such a wonderful presentation that we have for you all. So Kim, let me stop right here and I'll pass it on to you. So take it away from me.
Thank you, Milton and panelist team, and welcome to our members, anyone who is on this webinar. We are looking forward to talking about financial caregiving for parents and grandparents. I don't know if you know, but May is actually Older Americans Month. So we thought it would be great to bring you a webinar that talks about financial caregiving for parents, grandparents, and maybe it could be an aunt or an uncle or someone that you are helping in there as they get older. So let's go ahead and get started. Let me turn my camera off. All right, so you know what we're talking about this evening. Here's our agenda. We are always wanting to make sure that we give you the resources, the financial education that you deserve, that you want. So you can see by our agenda, we're going to talk about understanding financial caregiving. We're going to talk a little bit about legal and ethical considerations. We're going to dive into practical financial management tips, long-term financial planning strategies, give you lots of resources. And one of the most important pieces to helping someone with this type of season in their life is communication techniques and resources and support. So like I stated earlier, May is Older Americans Month. So, we decided that it's a prime opportunity to highlight the important ways in which we can give support and caregiving and enhance really the lives of our senior community. So as we all know, as we age, it often becomes or could become necessary to seek additional assistance with things like our daily activities, whether that be, help at the grocery store, transportation to doctor's appointments or any other appointments, or even something like personal care at home. And, such support is not just about maintaining our independence, but it's also about enhancing our quality of life, which is so important. We love to give you guys some real live data and statistics. So according to Merrill Lynch and AgeWave, over 40 million people in the United States are actively providing care to friends, family, and loved ones. While 64% of those caregivers offer physical support, like we just talked about, a remarkable, get this, 92% engage in what is known as financial caregiving. So unlike physical caregiving, financial caregiving involves helping manage money, other assets, and we all know it's a critical service that ensures really the security and stability for many older adults. It's so critical. A financial caregiver plays a crucial role distinct from that of a financial planner or advisor, because the financial planner advisor focuses on investing, things like growing a portfolio. The tasks of a financial caregiver can range from anything like setting up automated bill payments for utilities, for a mortgage payment, maybe assisting with tax obligation, something very important like monitoring account statements to guard against fraud. The form of caregiving is, very pivotal, especially when an individual may no longer be able to manage their finances independently. So financial caregiving, safeguarding dignity and independence. It's so important for us to talk about this. We already talked about financial caregiving plays a vital role in, safeguarding the dignity, independence, and financial well-being of elderly individuals. Effective financial management is an essential aspect to their overall care. It really is. So let's talk about ensuring financial security. So proper management of finances ensures the elderly have resources needed to cover their living expenses, things like medical costs, and other needs without the risk of running out of funds. Preventing financial abuse. This is huge, and we want to make sure that we convey and give you resources to make sure that you can protect, whoever you are from any type of fraud or financial abuse. Elderly individuals are often very vulnerable. We just had a webinar on this, to financial scams and abuse. A trusted financial caregiver is so important to protect them from being exploited financially by unscrupulous parties. And then maintaining quality of life. We talked about how important that is earlier. Efficient management of resources helps maintain or improve the elderly person's quality of life, ensuring that funds are available if they need health care, personal comfort, or even things like leisure activities. And peace of mind. Peace of mind is so important when it comes to your financial future. Knowing that their financial matters are in order provides them with peace of mind to, and to their families. It reduces stress and anxiety about the future and any uncertainties that they may have. That peace of mind is critical, really, to their health and how they age. Legal planning, legacy planning, effective financial management includes planning, for the distribution of assets after the elderly person's death, helping to fulfill their final wishes, providing for their heirs in a meaningful way of how they wanted that to happen. I said we were going to talk a little bit about legal and ethical considerations. So let's focus on some of the most critical components of financial caregiving. The legal documents that help ensure the affairs of your loved ones, family, friend, whoever you are helping, are managed according to their wishes and with their best interest at heart. So key legal documents in financing caregiving, you can see on the slide in front of you. We're going to begin with powers of attorney, or POAs. A power of attorney is a vital legal document that allows one person, often called the agent, to make decisions on behalf of another person known as the principal. This arrangement can cover a range of responsibilities, from making financial decisions to medical decisions. There are several types of POAs, power of attorneys, each serving different needs. So I'm going to go through those really quickly. A general POA it gives broad authority to the agent over the principal's affairs, which is quite comprehensive. There's a limited POA document, specifies the agent's powers to certain activities or timeframes, making it a little more restrictive. There's a healthcare POA. It's specifically designed to let the agent make medical decisions for the principal if they become incapacitated, which is, really critical for uninterrupted care and decision making. Now we're going to move on to wills. A will is a fundamental document. It outlines how a person's assets and their estate should be distributed upon their passing. It specifies an executor who's going to manage the estate. It identifies beneficiaries. It provides detailed instructions on asset distribution. Having a well-drafted, well-detailed will is essential to ensure that the individual's final wishes are respected and that their estate is transferred smoothly to their designated beneficiaries. Next, we have trusts. Trusts are arrangements where one party, known as the trustee, holds assets on behalf of a beneficiary or beneficiaries. Trusts can be revocable, which means they can be modified or terminated by the grantor during their lifetime, or trusts can be irrevocable, which are permanent and cannot be changed without the beneficiary's consent. So trusts are excellent tools for managing and protecting assets, both during one's lifetime and even after. Trusts are something that we do offer here at our credit union. And then lastly, we're going to talk about advance directives. These are actually documents that specify what kind of medical treatment an individual wishes to receive if they become, unable to make those decisions themselves. So common forms include a living will, which outlines the types of medical intervention a person desires or wants to avoid, and a DNR, do not resuscitate orders, which states the individual wishes regarding life-prolonging medical treatments. So each of these documents really play a crucial role in managing and protecting an elderly person's affairs. It's important to consult with legal professionals when drafting these documents to ensure they accurately reflect the person's wishes and comply with current laws. So ethical aspects of financial care, as we discuss the financial caregiving responsibilities, it's also critical to also consider the ethical foundations that guide these duties. Managing someone else's finances, especially in the context of elderly care, really requires adherence to strong ethical principles to ensure that we are acting in the best interests of those we serve. And first, of course, is transparency. Transparency in financial caregiving means just really being open about all transactions and decisions. This not only builds trust with the individual whose finances you are managing, but also with other family members who might be affected by these financial decisions. It's so important to be transparent. It's about very clear crystal clear communication and open record keeping. And then next we have integrity. It's about acting with honesty and not exploiting the position for personal gain. As financial caregivers, it is our duty to always prioritize the needs and the best interest of the principal, the person, over who we are assisting. And this means making the right choices that are right, not just those that are beneficial or convenient to us. We made that commitment to help them. And then moving on to accountability involves meticulous record keeping. That's one thing we always say in these types of webinars. You really have to keep meticulous record keeping and documentation of every financial transaction and every decision that you make. This ensures that everything can be clearly explained and justified, not just to the principal, to the person that you're assisting, but to any legal entities or family members who might review these actions later, and that absolutely can happen. So informed consent is also crucial, where possible, it's important to ensure really that the principal, the person that you're assisting, understands and consents to decisions being made on their behalf. This means having discussions about the extent of the powers granted to you as a caregiver and being transparent, like we talked about earlier, and about the implications of financial decisions. So open communication is so very important. And respect for privacy. You know, as caregivers, we must safeguard that person's privacy by ensuring that sensitive financial information is disclosed only to those who have a legal or ethical right to know. Privacy in financial matters is not just a preference. It is a right that has to be protected. And then lastly, avoiding conflicts of interest. You know, we must diligently avoid situations where our personal interests could conflict with those of the principal. And if ever in doubt, it's important to seek, advice or consent from unbiased third party or legal counsel. These ethical considerations, transparency, integrity, accountability, informed consent, respect for privacy, and avoiding conflicts of interest are not just guidelines. They are essential, really essential to ensuring that we carry out our responsibilities effectively and justly, and that we are safeguarding the rights and the wishes of those we serve and care for. So let's talk now about financial management and managing the expenses of your elderly parents or grandparents. We're going to give you best practices and some tools and some software that can assist in the actual process. So here are some, you can see in front of you on the slide, here are some practical financial management tips for setting up a budget for your parents, your grandparents, your friend, your family member, whoever you are assisting. Assess income sources. Begin with a list of all their income sources, including pensions, Social Security benefits, any rental income they may be getting, dividends, and any other sources. Include it all. This will provide a very clear picture of the money or annual income available. This is going to help you tremendously. Identify and categorize expenses. So once you have determined the income, then you're going to document all of their expenses, such as housing costs, whether it's rent or mortgage, utilities, groceries, medical expenses, insurance premiums. What are some others? Personal care costs. Categorizing these expenses helps in understanding where the money goes and identifies areas for potential savings. Prioritize essential costs. Ensure that essentials such as their health care, their housing, their food are prioritized to guarantee that these needs are always met without any compromise whatsoever. Minimize, this is not always easy, but minimize unnecessary expenses. Review the expenses periodically to identify and eliminate non-essential spending. That's why you have to write every single thing down, especially subscriptions or services that are no longer, useful to that person. And create a contingency fund. Set aside money for unexpected expenses. We all have those, whether we're elderly or not. And it's so important to create a contingency fund, such as, for medical emergencies or sudden home repairs. This fund acts as a financial safety net, which again goes back to that peace of mind. Plan for long-term care needs. I don't know that we ever sit down and really think about this, but consider future needs such as long-term care insurance or modifications to the home to accommodate an aging-related change. And review and adjust regularly. A budget should be a living document that is reviewed. It's typically always adjusted regularly. There's always typically going to be changes in things like income, health status, or living conditions can also necessitate budget adjustments. And involve them. It is so important. We talked about transparency, integrity, involve them in the process. If possible, involve your parents, your grandparents, whoever you're caring for in the budgeting process. This can help them maintain a sense of control and ensure that the budget aligns with their preference and priorities. If you are able to involve them, if they still can understand, it might take you longer, but that is okay. Just sit with them and involve them in the process. And it is really going to make them feel like they're still valuable and they're still in control. And then, seek professional advice. If the financial situation is complex, consider consulting with a financial advisor who specializes in elder care. And we're going to give you resources that we use here at the credit union about fellows, and they can offer guidance tailored to the specific need and circumstance of your parent or grandparent, because every person's situation is going to be different, and it's okay. Tracking and managing expenses. Best practices for tracking and managing these. Consolidate financial accounts. Number one, simplify financial management for you and for the person you're caring for by consolidating accounts where possible, such as, combining checking accounts or rolling over old retirement accounts. Automated payments. I mean, this is definitely something for every age to make things so much more simple. Set up automatic payments for regular bills such as utilities, insurance, mortgage. That will help you to avoid missed payments and late fees, because you probably will have your own bills that you are regularly paying. And I can't say this enough, especially working at a credit union and we have members and you get statements. Regularly monitor their accounts, review bank and credit card statements to keep track, really truly look at them, of spending and catch any unauthorized transactions early. Because the elderly, we all know, can be targeted by scams. And they're very vulnerable. Like I said earlier, they might be lonely and just want to talk to someone. So they may trust someone who calls them over the phone. I can't even talk. Sorry, you guys. Categorize expenses, organize expenses into actual categories will help you tremendously when you're involved in helping someone else, like healthcare, groceries, housing. This categorization helps identify areas where spending can actually be adjusted. And then set spending alerts. Mainly banking apps. There's so many of them that will allow you to set alerts. I know we do here at the credit union, at the U.S. Senate Federal Credit Union, when spending on a certain category or account exceeds a predetermined threshold. So you can set, an alert if your card is used for anything over $100. You will automatically get a notification, and that will really help you to be able to go back to regularly monitoring your accounts, and will alert you way before you would ever get that statement. Involve your parents or grandparents. We talked about this early. If you are able, sit down with them, let them see you do their budget, let them see you categorize these expenses, figure out what their income is, what they have coming in, what they have going out. It will help them to understand their own financial situation. Review financial plans regularly, adjust the budget and financial plans as needed. More than likely, you are going to need to do that. And if you sit down with them and show them, they're going to most likely understand. So let them know that there were some changes in maybe health, living situation, or financial status. And then tools to help with financial management. Financial management tools can be extremely helpful for caregivers managing the finances of an elderly individual. And these tools can assist in budgeting, expense tracking, investment managing, and legal documentation. So here are some useful financial management tools for financial caregivers. We have Quicken as number one, but we have determined that QuickBooks is more user-friendly. It might be a little bit more, but you're not going to have a lot of the issues that you have with if you use QuickBooks with Quicken. And then YNAB, you need a budget. So YNAB focuses on giving every dollar a job and is great for caregivers who need to manage strict budgets. It's also offers strong educational resources to help users learn about effective budgeting strategies. Personal Capital. This tool provides elements of budgeting with advanced investment tracking, which makes it suitable for managing more complex financial situations, such as things like estates, or large investment portfolios. And then there's Truebill. Truebill helps manage and track subscriptions, automate savings, and even negotiate better rates on bills, which can be particularly useful for managing recurring expenses. Then there is EverSafe. EverSafe is designed with seniors in mind. EverSafe monitors financial accounts for suspicious activity, helping protect against fraud and scams, which elderly individuals you've already have said could be particularly vulnerable to. And then there's one called Tiller Money for those who prefer working with spreadsheets. Tiller Money automates financial data into fully customizable Google Sheets or Excel sheets, providing a flexible platform for budgeting and financial tracking. And then there's Pocket Guard. This app is good for caregivers who need to keep track of both their personal finances and those of someone they care for. It simplifies budget management and identifies potential savings. And then Silver Bills is one. It's designed to ease the complex and multifaceted levels of bill management. And seniors are not even required to be online in order to use this app, Silver Bills. It's also helpful for caregivers after a simple enrollment process, able to complete online or via regular mail. All of a senior's bills can be paid by this service on time. All financial accounts and bills with Silver Bills are linked. Seniors can get instant alerts of any changes. The cost for Silver Bills is approximately $75 a month. We don't endorse or recommend one of these services over another. It's important for us to tell you that. They are merely resources for you, suggestions. As always, it is so important to do your own research before committing to one of these apps. So let's talk about long-term financial planning. As we all know that as we age, financial stability becomes not just a concern, but a necessity. So now I want you to spend a little bit of time walking through several key strategies that are essential for safeguarding the assets of elderly individuals and ensuring their financial future is secure. So first, we're going to talk about estate planning. Estate planning is not just for wealthy people. It's crucial for anyone who wants their assets to be handled according to their wishes after they pass. By working with a qualified attorney, you can develop a plan that potentially reduces estate taxes, woohoo, and simplifies the legal process for your heirs. And this ensures that your assets are distributed as you intended without unnecessary legal complications. So next, we consider the importance of long-term care insurance. Healthcare costs can be staggering. We all know that, especially as needs increase with age. So long-term care insurance actually helps cover the cost of nursing homes, assisted living, or in-home care. This type of insurance is a safeguard protecting your savings and other assets from the high costs associated with extended health care. And then we're going to move on to retirement planning. It is really vital to review and adjust your retirement plans regularly. This ensures they align with your current and your future needs, taking into account factors like inflation, expected lifespan. Proper planning helps prevent outliving your assets, which is so important. A common fear among retirees, something that everybody fears. Debt management is another crucial area. Managing or eliminating debt as you age is key to your financial health. Reducing debt reduces the financial strain, the stress. It preserves more of your resources for future needs, such as things like healthcare and daily living expenses. Tax planning, another one that plays a significant role in this, working, with a tax advisor to implement strategies that minimize your tax liabilities ensures that you retain more of your money, which can be used for critical needs in retirement. An emergency fund is something we cannot overlook. Everybody should have one, no matter what age. But life as we know it, you guys, is unpredictable. An emergency fund provides a financial buffer that can help you handle just unexpected expenses without having to compromise on your standard of living or dip into other savings. And doesn't it all happen at one time? I mean, your refrigerator goes out and then your dishwasher goes out, and then does it come in threes? It's going to be a washer, a dryer. But yeah, that emergency fund, it's critical at really any age because life is unpredictable. Updating beneficiaries regularly is essential. I can't say this loud enough. This simple step ensures that all accounts, including retirement accounts, insurance policies, are all in order and that assets will transfer smoothly to your intended heirs without legal hurdles. If you don't do anything else for your family, make sure that you have established beneficiaries. The establishment of trusts is also a powerful tool in asset protection. Trusts help manage and protect your assets during your lifetime and beyond, offering clearer control over how your assets are distributed among your heirs. And then lastly, regular financial reviews are indispensable. Economic landscapes, personal health, and circumstances change. Regular reviews with a financial advisor help you stay on track and adjust your strategies as you need to adjust them, and they will need to be adjusted. These strategies really form the backbone of a robust financial plan that not only protects assets, but also provides, and I'm going to say it again because it's so important, that peace of mind about your financial security in the later stages of life. And I'm telling you, don't blink because it happens really fast. Navigating healthcare costs in elderly care, as caregivers, one of the most critical roles is ensuring that healthcare is both accessible and affordable. So we're going to dive into some effective strategies that can help you to achieve this. First, it's crucial to understand the coverage options. So navigating the maze of healthcare coverage, it can be absolutely daunting. Medicare provides the foundation of healthcare coverage for seniors, but it does not cover everything. This is where supplemental insurance, such as Medigap, comes into play. It can help cover additional costs that Medicare is not going to cover, such as things like co-payments, co-insurance, and deductibles. I encourage you to familiarize yourself with these options to better manage potential gaps in coverage, because there will be some. And then next, consider long-term care insurance. Medicare has limited coverage for long-term care, and this is often where the highest costs arise, particularly as chronic conditions or disabilities require ongoing care, such as maybe in an assisted living facility or even at-home care. Evaluating the need for long-term care insurance early can be a game changer for you, for your loved one. Offering, here's that phrase again, peace of mind, knowing that these costs can be managed more effectively if they arise. And then planning for out-of-pocket expenses is also essential. Unexpected healthcare costs can create significant financial strain and stress, anxiety, which can make the person or you even sicker. By setting aside funds in a health savings account, an HSA, or other dedicated savings vehicle, you can create that buffer to mitigate those kinds of impacts. HSAs are particularly beneficial as they offer tax advantages that other savings options might not. And then exploring assistance programs, that's our next strategy we're going to share with you. And there are numerous state and federal programs designed to assist with healthcare costs. Medicaid, for example, can be a vital resource for seniors with limited income and assets. There are resources for them. These programs can provide substantial relief, but they require navigating bureaucratic channels. So it's important to start this process really early. And then lastly, seek professional advice. Each situation is unique. Everybody's situation is different. And sometimes the complexities of healthcare and financial planning require really expert guidance. Consulting with financial planners like fellows or elder care specialists like fellows can provide some personalized strategies that fit the specific health and financial circumstances of your elder. This step can ensure that you're making the most informed decisions and utilizing all available resources as effectively as you possibly can. These strategies are not just about managing costs, they're also about ensuring that our loved ones receive the care they deserve, that they need, without compromising their financial security. And then communication strategies. Money is understandably a sensitive topic for both parties. We know this. Parents and other elderly relatives can often be very tight-lipped because they aren't used to letting their children take the lead on these kinds of family duties. It's hard for them. Adult children are also sensitive when it comes to questioning our parents about money, because we don't want to come off as, inquiring about our future inheritance. That's not what it's about, but they don't know that. That's why it's so important to keep that communication open. And if we use a respectful and tactful tone with aging parents, it's going to make those financial conversations so much easier. Many people wait way too long to have important conversations with their parents about money. Even if your parents seem physically and financially stable, you still may want to initiate just a dialogue about finances so that you adequately understand their financial preference. Once an aging parent becomes sick or needs care for other reasons, having a discussion about money and other sensitive topics can be even more challenging. So let's talk about some tips for having those conversations. Talk about your finances, but keep it conversational. And to put your parents, your grandparents, whoever you're helping at ease, consider discussing your own financial planning. Um, Let me just give you an example. Try mentioning a recent visit, maybe to a financial planner, and the methods you're using to manage your own money. Talking about yourself can actually help ease into a conversation with your parents about how they're handling their own finances. They might even start the conversation after you have shared your experience with them. It makes the discussion friendlier and less like an interrogation. If one adult child in the family is more financially responsible, than the other siblings, it can be good for that child to take the lead because the parents may be more comfortable talking money with that actual child, adult child, of course. Lead with loving intentions and let your parents know that you want to discuss their financial life because you care. You can start by saying something like, I know this might be difficult for you to talk about, but I care enough about you to want to make sure you're taken care of at any age. Um, can we ask them, can we find a time to discuss what plans you have made and how I might be able to help you in making sure everything is taken care of? And remember, you've been thinking about this conversation for a while, but this may be the first time your parents have considered anything about this kind of discussion with you. So they may need a little time to process your request. So start with loving intentions, and make sure you get the timing right. Finding a quiet time to ask your parents to engage in a financial dialogue with you is critical. It's essential. Be certain to avoid things like, busy holiday times where everybody's in the same room, or where you're likely, to be distracted. While you may want to talk today about money, remember your parents may need some time to adjust to the idea of breaking their money silence with you. So, depending on you, your personality, waiting for a quiet time to invite them to engage in a money talk may be challenging. So, in this situation, patience really does pay off. And be specific about your concerns. When sharing your concerns with a parent or a loved one, be very specific. If you're worried that your mom has been a victim of a telephone scam, let her know that. Express your concern and ask permission to help. For example, say, I'm worried that you may have been taken advantage of financially, and I would love to help you not to get hurt like that again in the future. And ask them, what do you think? If you express loving concern and are specific about the cause of your worry, your parent is going to be so much more likely to understand your actions and comply with your request. And then keep conversations brief. Once your parent has agreed to that money talk, keep the conversation brief. You may have a million questions for your mom, your dad, your loved one, but asking one or two at a time is better than bombarding them with inquiries. They may get very overwhelmed. And while you might be thinking about this money talk for months leading up to it, this is a new conversation for them. So keep it brief. Only ask a few questions at a time. And, it's better to have 3 30-minute talks than one 90-minute conversation. Not only does this keep everyone focused on one task or discussion item at a time, it helps everyone stay calm and rational. So give your parents control whenever possible, if that is an option. A big part of aging is dealing with a loss of control over your physical and mental health. Elderly parents know that in time they will need more support, but they often don't want to face that reality. When discussing how you can help them with financial matters, reassure them that this is not an attempt to take over their life. Simply an offer to help them as they age. So it's all about your approach. Whenever possible, invite your parents to decide what to address and when they want to address it. And by doing so, you are demonstrating that you are there to support them, not to take control over them. Be open with your family. We've already talked about transparency. It is so important when it comes to helping aging parents with their finances. It's not uncommon to see the efforts of a well-intentional child of an elderly parent cause suspicion, cause conflict with other family members simply because their actions weren't discussed in advance. So there's that transparency again. And respect their wishes and work with them. Most importantly, this is about that person. This is about your mom, your dad, your family member, your friend, their health and their well-being. You got to put yourself in their shoes. What if someone were talking about this with me? Work with them in partnership. Be their partner in this, not in conflict with them to persuade them to do things that make them feel uncomfortable. And remember, good questions are often the key to great conversation. So be curious about what's important to them. Let them know that you care about what's important to them and how they would like to be helped when that time is right. And then it's not about the money. It's about making sure they have the care and provision that they need in that next season of life. Resources and support, as we all know, financial matters can become increasingly complex. And as caregivers, our primary concern is ensuring the well-being of our loved ones. So let's discuss some signs that indicate it's time to seek professional advice to manage these responsibilities effectively and how to ensure you're seeking the actual proper support. And then I'm going to conclude by sharing some support resources for caregivers, which we always promise during our webinars. So firstly, let's address complex financial situations. Navigating assets. We've already talked about that. Investments or estate planning can become quickly overwhelming, especially as the financial landscape evolves or if the estate is large and complex. When you find these matters growing too complicated or too time-consuming, this is a clear sign that you need the expertise of a financial advisor or estate planner. Don't feel like you have to carry this load, especially if it's not your subject, if you're not a subject matter expert in it. These professionals provide the clarity, they provide the direction needed to optimize financial health and ensure future stability. Moving on to changes in health status. So significant health changes can alter not just the daily care needs, but also the long-term financial planning of your loved one. Conditions that may require long-term care or lead to increased medical expenses can significantly impact financial planning. Consulting with healthcare professionals and a financial planner specializing in elder care becomes critical to adjust plans accordingly and ensure all needs are met. That's the primary goal, is to make sure all their needs are met. And then next, we have legal concerns. Navigating legal landscape of powers of attorney, wills, trusts, or elder law can be daunting. These are critical elements that ensure the wishes of your loved ones are honored and their assets are 100% protected. An elder law attorney is invaluable in these situations, offering, that necessary legal guidance to navigate these complex issues smoothly. Another critical area is insurance confusion, understanding and choosing the right options for Medicare, Medicaid, or long-term care insurance can be very confusing. Each choice has significant implications for coverage, for cost. And if you're unsure about the best options for your situation, it's advisable to consult with an insurance specialist or a senior healthcare benefits advisor. They're going to provide you with detailed explanation. They're going to put it in layman's terms so that you understand it, and you're going to figure out the best suit for your needs. Lastly, significant life events. Life events such as death of a spouse, a move to an assisted living facility, or a major financial change like receiving a large inheritance require very careful adjustment of financial and legal plans. These events can be pivotal moments for seeking professional advice to ensure that all necessary adjustments are made properly and efficiently. In conclusion, recognizing these signs and acting upon them by seeking professional advice can make a significant difference in managing the financial affairs of your aging parents or grandparents or friends or loved ones. It ensures that their needs are met, which is our goal, their assets are protected, and their wishes are respected. So, thank you guys for your attention. We are happy to discuss any of these points in further detail. And now we're going to talk about seeking advice. So I'm going to give you a little bit of guidance on the process of seeking professional advice to ensure that you are equipped to provide the best possible care and support. So identifying the type of professional needed. So understanding the specific needs of your elderly loved one is crucial. We've already talked about that. If you're dealing with financial issues, a financial advisor or elder financial specialist might be necessary for legal matters, such as things like wills, estates. An elder law attorney probably more than likely will be required. And for health-related decisions, a geriatric care manager or medical professional specializing in elderly care can offer invaluable guidance. You have resources. Everyone has resources. And asking for referrals, I think this is one of the most important pieces of this whole webinar. One of the most reliable ways to find a trustworthy professional is through referrals. Ask your friends, ask your family, ask other caregivers that you know who have faced similar situations for their recommendations. And don't overlook resources like healthcare providers, senior centers that you know about, or local agencies on aging. They can often suggest excellent professionals experienced in elder care. And then check credentials. Once you have a few names, please do your homework. Check their qualifications, read their reviews, verify that they are in good standing with professional associations and even licensing boards. This step is really critical to ensure that the professionals you consider are not only qualified, but are reputable. Preparing for consultations, before you meet with that professional, gather all the necessary documents like things like financial statements, medical records, legal paperwork are just a few that I can think of. Having these at hand during consultations will maximize your productivity and help the professional provide more accurate and tailored advice. I also recommend interviewing multiple professionals. Don't settle for the first expert you meet. It's important to speak with several and find someone who not only has the expertise, but also the right interpersonal fit. That's so important. This person will be working closely with you and your family, so comfort and trust are paramount. Understanding costs before you commit to anything. Understand how these professionals plan to charge for their services. Some might work on an hourly basis, others might ask for a flat fee. Some might require a retainer. Clear knowledge of the cost structure will help that budget and avoid any surprises. Consider nonprofit and government resources for financial and legal advice. Look into nonprofit organizations that specialize in elder care. And for medical advice, your local health department or university medical center can be really great resources, often at a much lower cost than private practices. And by being proactive and recognizing when expert advice is actually needed, you can navigate the complexities of elder care with total confidence. This ensures that your loved one will receive the best support and care tailored to their specific need. So how to seek professional advice. You're going to identify the type of professional needed. So depending on the issue, be it legal, financial, or medical, identify the type of professional you need to consult first. And then you're going to ask for referrals, reach out to your friends. You're going to check those credentials. You're going to prepare for consultations, gather all your relevant financial documents, medical records, legal paperwork before consultations to make the session as productive as possible. You're going to interview multiple professionals. I highly recommend, don't hesitate to meet with several to find someone who is not only qualified, but also that good fit personally and financially. And then understanding those costs. You know, at any age, we should understand and be clear on how professionals charge for their services, whether it's hourly, flat fee, or retainer. Knowing that cost structure can help in making really informed decisions. And then the support for elderly individuals and their caregivers, a variety of support services and resources are available to assist with financial management, healthcare, and daily living needs. You all will receive a copy of this PowerPoint slide. So the support and resources will be one of the slides that you will receive and have all of this information. Area agencies on aging, legal aid services, elder care locator, Social Security Administration, Medicare, and Medicaid services. These all will help you understand and choose whatever you're trying to receive. Veterans benefits, National Council on Aging, there's community and nonprofit organizations, like we spoke about earlier, caregiver support groups, you know, organizations like Family Caregiver Alliance or the Alzheimer's Association, they offer support groups, educational resources, and respite programs for caregivers. So, you know, by utilizing these resources, these services, elderly individuals and their caregiver can access much needed support. This does not have to completely fall on your shoulders. And information, you know, to manage health, financial, and daily living challenges more effectively. And we are almost to the end. Like I said in the very beginning, we are going to give you USSFCU advisory services, financial caregiving support through our partnership with Fellows. Michael Schimmel is our support there at Fellows. They offer estate planning, you guys, legacy planning, retirement planning, insurance solutions. We understand the unique financial challenges faced by caregivers managing the affairs of elderly loved ones. And to support you in this crucial role, you know, we have partnered with Fellows, a leading in financial advisory services. So you can benefit from the expertise of Fellows. We trust them, we promote them, and that's who we want you to call if you need someone. So thank you guys. It's been a great night. Hopefully you got something, and we're going to go straight into Q&A.
Well, thank you, Kim. What an amazing presentation. That was so much great knowledge and so many great resources. I think I saw a lot of the comments coming in for the members asking for, you know, if we're going to make this available to them. The answer is yes, right off the bat. We are going to include this presentation. Also, the resources that we included, you are more than welcome to click on the links. It's going to take you straight into those websites. Also, I think I saw some questions asking about some of those tools that Kim mentioned. We are also going to put that list as well. I know it's not included on the presentation, but Carrie is going to put them together on an email when we send those out. So thank you, Kim. Wow, that was a lot, and we finished right on time. Now we get to the exciting part and to our commitment as we do every time. And I'm going to pass it right on over to our marketing engagement specialist, Eddie Villanueva. Go ahead, sir. Take it away.
Yes, sir. The one and only. Carrie, as you know, she was saying on the comments, she will be including the money management tools that everybody's asking about in the follow-up email. So thank you for doing that, Carrie. So one of the questions that I have on my end is it helpful to add yourself to your parents' checking account? If not, what is the best way to be able to help pay bills if they don't opt for that online billing? So what would you recommend if somebody wants to help their parents, but they don't want to do the online banking or they don't want to be added to the account?
I'm happy to take this one because I just recently had this experience with my own mother. My mother will be 80 in July and she still follows a band. So she thinks she is never, ever going to get old. I just had the conversation with her to say, hey, Mom, you never know when something could potentially happen. Do we want something to happen? No, never. So my mother decided to add me and my sister to her actual accounts. This allows us to be able to go in at any time if something were to happen to our mother and have control over being able to pay her bills. Now, my mother could have gotten power of attorney. But this was just an easier way. We wouldn't have to take in the power of attorney. We wouldn't have to, if you take in power of attorney after something happens to your loved one, if they didn't submit that power of attorney up front, then you're probably going to need something from the doctor to say, hey, they're incapacitated and they're not able to provide you this POA themselves. So if you have POA, I highly recommend that whoever has the POA to provide that early before anything happens to them. If they trust you and you have that open communication to add you to their checking account, savings account, money market, and you have that trust that, hey, Mom, I'm not going to touch it only if something happens to you. That is the best way to start, is absolutely if they're willing to let you be joint on their accounts. That's the best case scenario.
And I think, Kim, thank you very much for that answer. I think that goes along with what you were saying in one of the slides. You were talking about transparency and open conversation. Let them know why you want to do what you want to do, or why you're trying to get added to the account. And something that Mr. Ken added on the comments as well was very, it goes along with what you're saying. He was saying that for my wife and I, the hardest part of helping my mother-in-law is getting her to let us. So it's one of those things that, people definitely struggle. I know Carrie mentioned that it's the same thing with her father, I believe. That, you want to make sure that you want to help these people, but sometimes they're like, what are you after me? Like, what are you planning against me? But it just goes with, like you were saying, conversate with them, have those conversations. Like, one way or another, you're going to have those conversations sooner rather than later. So it's one of those things to keep those, transparency, and let them know what it is that you're trying to accomplish with everything that you're doing. So Kim, great answer. Thank you very much. Another question on the Q&A now. Strategies or recommendations when your parents have dementia and nothing is in place? Do you have an idea of what a member can do if their parents are going through dementia and nothing has been set up on their end?
Yes, Eddie, that's also a great question, and I think Cam did touch on this on the presentation, and obviously, we do recommend that you talk to one, you want to talk to a financial advisor, and two, you want to talk to a healthcare provider as well too. So this is when you bring a team, right? You want to bring the two of them together, and then they can help you, come out with a game plan to put it in place. So, but absolutely, you don't want to go at it alone. You definitely want to make sure that you are doing your due diligence, and as Kim alluded to, one of the things that we recommend is that you do the interviews. Whenever you're looking out for those services, that you want to make sure that you are vetting everyone and make sure that it's the right person, somebody that can fit that your need. Everyone needs are different, so everyone's situation, it's not going to be the same, and definitely, we highly recommend that you seek professional advice, especially in a situation that delicate. It is tough. It truly it's tough, but you're not alone. You do have resources, and it's a matter of getting together, putting a team in place, and having their advice, and then going from there. But that would be what we would recommend if you are ever put in that situation.
And I think it goes along with what we have said in past webinars, as a member, do your due diligence. And like, Kim was saying in the presentation, make sure you do your investigation, make sure whoever you're working with, they have the best interest to do both for your family and the elderly person that you're trying to help as well. So please make sure that you look at the reviews, their licensing, make sure that everything is on track to make sure that you feel comfortable with what you're doing. Another question on the chat. I'm sorry, on the Q&A feature. My father just passed away and he was named on my grandparents' will. Do I need to update my grandparents' will with my mother's name?
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna need to find that question. Sorry, so I can read it myself. Hold on just a second. Not that you didn't read it, you read it great. This one's a little more complex, Eddie, and this is a great question. So my father just passed away and he was named on my grandparents' will. Do I need to update my grandparents' will with my mother's name? So I have so many more questions to ask. I'm so sorry. I'm assuming your grandparents are still alive. And my question would be, how are you going to update your grandparents' will? If you want to call me tomorrow, I don't want to ask you personal questions in this chat, but I think there are some more questions that we have to ask in order to give you, the answer that you may want. Grandparents are still alive. Okay, are they able to modify their will? If they are, then it would. I actually just dealt with this week. My father passed away, and I'm so sorry about your loss. My father passed away 4 years ago, and him and my grandmother, his mother, they died the same year within months of each other. So my grandmother had a will that named my father. And so then, because my father passed away, we had to go through a lot of red tape to then me and my sister become our father on that will. So I would highly recommend that you update anything that you can before you're ready to act on that will. I hope that helps. Is it Miss Velasquez? Grandma has dementia. Grandpa is somewhat lucid. Okay. All right. So it looks like you do have the documents in place that you would need to modify that will. The POA, your aunt probably would be the one to get that modified. And again, so sorry for your loss. I understand, and it's very hard. So I hope you're doing well.
And thank you, Kim, for answering, that very delicate question. And that's the reason why we emphasize that you can talk to one of our financial advisors. We have people that deal with these type of situations, more than we do here in the panelists. So please make sure that you are utilizing those free tools that we have for you all, and specifically because, there might be legal matters that you want to discuss with them or very specific questions. There's many ways that you can approach this. So please make sure that you talk to an advisor that we can offer to you. So, and Kim, you nailed that one. That was a grand slam in my book, so thank you very much for doing that.
Thank you.
Yes, definitely. And then also just wanted to emphasize that Mr. Won was talking about one of the financial tools that he uses. I believe it's called Empower. So if somebody's, in the market to see what they want to use regarding, how to track their finances, he was talking about how he does his 401ks there. Make sure that you check out the app Empower. Is recommended from one of our, regulars in this weekly Wednesday webinars as well. And then regarding the dementia question, how do you find your team, like elder care attorney? How do you find that?
So I think this goes back to the question, and I think everybody knows I was in the contact center here at the credit union for close to 15, 16 years. We would get this often. Someone didn't have POA set up and something happened. They were in a car wreck. They were incapacitated and they could not. There was no one else on their U.S. Senate Federal Credit Union account. When this happens, most financial institutions have their own POA where it's just related to transactions. It allows you to write a check, make a withdrawal, transfer funds, when indeed there's no legal power of attorney drawn up by an attorney. So in order to alert your financial institution or whoever you're dealing with, first and foremost, you're going to have something written, notarized by a doctor, by your loved one's doctor, to say this person is indeed incapacitated and cannot take care of their financial affairs. And then, more than likely, whoever you're dealing with, if it's here at the credit union, we would then offer you the POA that is internal. So there are absolute resources if this happens. There's a lot of people who don't want to think about getting older, about aging, and there are some young people that have accidents and this happens too, and you just don't think about having these documents in place. So that's why we're having these webinars, just to bring awareness, whether you're young, whether you're middle-aged, whether you've been younger longer. It's so important to get those affairs, those documents in order. So hopefully that helped.
And something that Ms. Ken, which is another one of our regulars on the webinars, he's saying on the comments, please talk to an attorney. So like Kim was saying, everybody, the help is there and the resources are there. It's just a matter of talking to that professional that is gonna, answer you those specific questions that you may have. So please talk to an attorney, talk to a financial planner. The tools are there. And then Carrie, everybody was asking for a list. Are you going to include that on the follow-up email? Can you say that one more time?
Yes, and I won't make you all wait forever. I'm putting it together right now. As soon as we sign off here, I can download the list, and then I linked them all, and I also posted some more information. Hopefully you find it helpful. And for the elder law or the law stuff we were just speaking of, there's a specific resource for that too, so that I would think is pretty great. So that's in there. If you're looking for something else, just reply to the email. I'll get right on it.
I was going to address Mr. Ken, the attorney that he spoke to said not to put your name on your parents, whoever you're helping's accounts, because you would become liable for their spending if they were to overdraw their accounts. My situation with my mother, she is very financially savvy. Very financially savvy. So you're going to know typically your parent, your grandparents' financial journey situation, and you're going to make those decisions accordingly. That was just a decision that we make, and I totally understand where you're coming from, Mr. Ken, and I 100% think you should offer this webinar to your mother-in-law and just tell her, here it is at your convenience, watch it if you'd like to. I think it would help her.
I think that is to show us how every situation varies, like what Kim did with her family member is not something that I might do with my family member,
Right.
or what I might do is not what Milton might do with his. So every situation is just different, So, and just to let you know, when Carrie has the glasses on, she's not playing. She's she's gonna commit to what she's promising. So best believe that you will get that list by the end of this evening. Milton, I didn't want to cut you off. I think that's all the questions that we have. I don't know if you want any closing regards.
No, I just wanted to say hi to our special guest that came in and did a grand entrance, and he left already. But here we go. He's coming back. There it is.
Oh.
But again, I know we are gone over 15 minutes over time. So I thank you all for coming in and being part of this. In my opinion, a really, really great webinar. I mean, it truly, truly is. I think more than one person, there's a reason why you all came in, and that's because you probably have an aging parent, or you're getting into that stage, and all those resources that we are providing to you, they truly, truly make an impact and a difference on everyone's life. So again, it's always better, always great to be prepared, like Kim alluded to. You never know. Life is interesting sometimes. It can really throw you some curveballs. And the best thing we can do is for us to prepare today, because you know what, tomorrow is never promised. So again, be very, very mindful of that, and just do all your due diligence, and we hope that again that this has been helpful for everyone. But before we let everyone go, definitely we want to invite you all to come back again next week. We have another exciting webinar, and I think Carrie has something to say before we wrap it up. But next webinar, next Wednesday's webinar, it's going to be on pathway out of debt. So strategies for financial well-being. So if you know someone that is maybe struggling a little bit with their finances, please tell them to come in and join us next week. It's going to be another exciting webinar. Truly, like we do every Wednesday, right? I think we truly love what we do. And this is our why, this is truly our why as to, why we come up, why we get up every morning and then we put our hat and then come and work for this amazing nonprofit. I mean, amazing credit union, which is also a nonprofit. And that is, that is called the United States Senate Federal Credit Union. So thank you all.